My name is Suzanne Barron, founder of Illuminati Exposed. You can purchase my book on Amazon. It's $9.99. You can purchase the paperback option for $14.95. There's 2 books on there. One's for those who are schizophrenic, who have voices that cause them to believe that the FBI is after them, or they may hear the word Illuminati and they may believe that they are Illuminati. Little things about gangstalking and telepathy and stuff like that. The second book is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Part 1. Currently working on finishing Part 2, so I can get that up there. Jesus Exposed Illuminati. Illuminati are the spirits. There are those people, for like especially the first book, if you're diagnosed schizophrenic, you would be the one that would believe the FBI is after you, and gang stalking and all that crazy mess. I don't want the world, as I talk about these things, to get things misunderstood. That, like, I have to get past the idea of the certain type of appearance that I need to give. You know, like a, I don't know, well put together church member, since I'm preaching the Bible. I'm far from that. And, you know, I've got history in my past, and I'm bringing the Bible like nobody's doing. You know, I'm reading it every day and I'm preaching about it. And you know, I used to sit with sinners. Jesus sat with sinners. Don't have this thing completely figured out. I just give you what I know, and then I look at them and I'm like, man, that was kind of confusing. And I watch these videos and I just post them anyways. I know that the voices have told me certain things, like schizophrenic symptom, as a patient will say that they're king or queen. I know that these voices told me I was a queen, that I'm the queen of Jesus. That's what they've told me. Jesus heard voices. He spoke to spirits. Schizophrenia is just the ability to hear spirits. And he said he was a king. So apparently those voices told him that he was a king. I don't know. You know, I know that I've Googled it and I've researched it and I've spoken to mental health therapists, and that's true. I've known other people to say that. Never met anyone else to say that they were a queen. I really only had much interaction with one male that's had schizophrenia, and I didn't even know it was schizophrenia. Yeah, I've known what schizophrenia is my whole life. I've known that my mom's schizophrenic, right? But she ain't got it like this. So when it hit me like this, I didn't know what it was. And that's the medical term for a gift that's been given to you because you can hear spirits. I didn't know what was happening to me. So, no, I don't have it all put together. I do know a few things. I know that I do hear the Spirit of Jesus in me. And how do I know that that's Jesus? Well, 1 John 4:1 says, test him. And any spirit that confesses he is Christ, or confesses Christ, is the Spirit of Christ, the Spirit of God. Because Satan can't do that. Satan can't confess that he's Christ. Cannot do that. And so, the voice that I recognize on Ole's Lane, the one voice that stuck up for me, and I was telling everybody, I was finally somebody out here sticking up for me. Who the fuck is that? Notice how I just said fuck? Who is that? Who's that one person? And he said, she doesn't deserve this much suffering. She's looking to the right God. And I didn't understand. I'm not looking to the right God. I'm not even reading my Bible. I don't even know what that meant. I mean, I understand it now. Because I did preach. I preached to everyone. I knew the Bible. There would be times I'd just be driving down the road with somebody that, drug addict or neighbor or somebody come bum a cigarette from me and a conversation arise. And I'll be like, there's a biblical concept to that. I would preach little things that I knew about the Bible. I always spoke about it. I don't talk about it like this, though. I say that these voices, these spirits, they live inside of you. Like Luke or Mark 5, Mark 5, he had a legion of demons that lived inside of him. He said it was many. They're members. Paul talks about these members. All the apostles talk about testing spirits. Jesus, Paul, Stephen, They saw things. The apostles saw Jesus with Moses and Elijah. They saw visions. They heard voices. All of that in 2022 is diagnosed as schizophrenic. Now, the ones that I just given to you, they're all heavenly visions. Okay, they were, the apostles saw Moses and Elijah with Jesus. He was transfigured, and that was the Spirit of God. Stephen looked up to the clouds and he saw heaven open up. That was the Spirit of God. Paul, when on his way to Damascus, a voice came to him. Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Saul got down. He said, who are you, Lord? What he was saying was, who are you, Master? Because he was persecuting these people who would have been preaching what Jesus would have been preaching, what the apostles later preached about, what Paul later preached about, was a kingdom. Well, legion is a soldier, or many soldiers to a legion belong to a kingdom. So in Mark 5, that's a kingdom of Satan, obviously, because it was causing that man to cut himself. It was creating havoc on his life. But Jesus casted them out, and he talks about this kingdom. So these spirits, they live inside of us. Okay, and they create us to have visions. They speak. We hear them. We like to think that they're coming from the outside. They do sound like they're coming from the outside, but I mean, I did a video that you put earplugs in your ears and the noise gets louder. I had a guy mention a comment, yeah, they get louder. I put headphones on, da da da, and it's like, he was like, I don't want to listen to them. And well, okay, well, why would they get louder if you put earplugs on? Put earplugs in all the time. Why would they get louder? Why does the voices get louder? Because the voices are coming from inside of you. Sorry, I interrupted there for a second. So why are the voices louder? Because they're inside. Okay, so what was I saying? This happens too often for me. See, I don't have everything put together, right? I was living in a tent in my mom's house, in the backyard of my mom's for a little while, until it started to mold. There's too much mold getting in. I guess the air is just really humid, so I sleep in stores, excuse me. I was in a homeless shelter for a month, like things. I'm just now getting my life back together. I got a job. I've got a job now. I'm saving money. Going to get me another car. So I beat it. But it doesn't mean that I'm not still suffering from what they did. Like I own land. I still own that land, but I'm not going back there. It's in the process of probably getting foreclosed on because I was not making the payments. So I guess I didn't technically completely own it, but you know how that goes. It's just land. The house was just a little storage unit thing that I was building a mini home in. Building a mini home, had 2 cars. I just lost that. But it's okay. The point is I don't have it all together. And I don't want the world to think that I'm trying to assume, make the world think that I do have it all together. No, I still struggle with this. So what I do know about these voices is they're not causing havoc on my life. They're not convincing me that the FBI is after me. They're not convincing me that my best friend put her baby in my car, trying to set me up for the kidnapping of her baby, that her dead baby is in the trunk of my car. You pull over and you check the car because you know that you hear that. There's people that's going to understand what I'm talking about. You know that you hear what you hear, and that scares the crap out of you. So you pull over and you tear your whole car apart right there on the road because all you know is you heard somebody say while driving down the road that there's a dead baby placed in your car. The voices aren't keeping me bunkered into my room, my bathroom, a little bitty, makeshift of I had insulation. I only had part of the house had drywall. I'm still building on it. Had me bunkered in my closet, my little bitty closet, afraid that somebody's going to bust down my door and shoot me. They're not telling me run outside and check somebody's stealing your car. Run outside and come back. 10 minutes later, run outside, come back. Scared, freezing cold, calling the cops. These voices aren't screaming my name. Women and children screaming my name as being raped. That's the havoc that it causes on you. And the messed up part about it is you believe that it's your neighbors because you hear your neighbors. If anybody experiences voices in their room and it sounds like your uncle or your sister, your brother or your friend, or boyfriend, and it sounds just like them, it's a complete replica of their voice. It sounds just like them. It's so convincing. You know that you heard that. And so you blame the person. What are you doing? I think it was my boyfriend was sleeping in the woods with people. Why would you be in the woods? Why you live right down the street. Why don't you just take her to your house? You know, like, what are you doing? I'm not a jealous person. I don't date people and get jealous like that. I don't do that. So that was new for me. But it didn't matter because I know what I heard. I heard him, and then it later on became him, like, being part of the people that are raping. And it escalated. It really started with, like, women, like sex in the woods, to women and children being raped, to the FBI. It continued to progress, right? It got worse, and the storyline changed. And by the time I left the property, though, that's when it hit, like, the FBI, and that's when I was driving all over the country, and I wasn't blaming nobody then, because I was nowhere in the state of Florida, and don't even know where I'm at, but all I hear is things coming through my car, like it's the FBI and stuff like that. I got no cell phones. I got no means of communication with anyone. I don't have a GPS. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know how I'm getting there. I'm not doing any of those things. How do I recognize the voice of Jesus, though? Because there was that one voice that stuck up for me, the one that told me to get to safety when I was in my room for 16 hours with a voice so heavy that I was too afraid to crawl to the bathroom to go pee, that I urinated in cups alongside my bed. I've told this story before. That's really embarrassing. Like, I could not get up out of my blanket. I couldn't. I was too scared. I was screaming for help, like that man Mark 5, crying out night and day. I was screaming at the top of my lungs, somebody please come help me. Ah! Crying in tears, frightened, terrorized. I couldn't move. I was about to pee on myself. I just reach over, grab a cup, pee, and put the cup down. It's the best I could do. Same voice that would stick up for me out there, that I heard say, she doesn't deserve this much suffering. She's looking to the right God. The same one that screamed Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John later on in the car. You even heard that on the property, like right there at the end. And I think that's when they ran me, because if I'd heard Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John just a couple more times, I would have opened my Bible right then on that property, and I would have figured it out then. So I think that they knew that, and that's why they ran me. And then I heard Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all through my car. Same voice told me, they're terrorizing you, get to safety. I crawled out of there naked. Well, almost naked, right? I mean, I had a shirt. Maybe I had a shirt on, underwear. You know, like, not completely dressed. My car, to go sleep in my car in a parking lot. How many times have I done that? That's the havoc voices. So there are people who are schizophrenic that hear voices, and they're not doing that. Okay, I still hear voices that are not doing that, and they're not Jesus. Okay, I want to be real with you, okay? They're not Jesus. There are days when my mom aggravates me, and I snap off on her. Like last night, I don't want my cats outside at night, all right? I lived in the woods. That's okay. They're out in the woods. Okay, now there's a road right here. Cats get hit by their vehicle, by cars at nighttime. Majority of the time it happens at night. My cats are indoor, outdoor cats. I don't want my cats out at night, and she keeps letting my cats out. And it aggravated me, and I snapped off at her. I've told you 100 times, please do not let my cats out. Okay, I didn't have to snap at her. Didn't have to do that, but I'm worried about my cats. And the thing is like, if I left them out there, either way in this situation, the demons are going to come back. Because, one, I snapped off and they fed on that. I made a poor choice. And now I'm aggravated. I'm sulking and I'm dealing with that in my head. And for those who don't hear the voices, this is the same thing is happening to you, but you just don't hear the voice. You feel bad, or you shouldn't have snapped, or you're aggravated, and it's like a spirit of worry, a spirit of anger, a spirit of illness, or whatever that you're dealing with, and you feel that, right? Well, for those who are gifted enough to hear the spirits, the spirit of worry, the spirit of guilt, spirit of any of those things, you can hear that, so that it's loud. And it's like, I'm going to get you, little pretty. You know, like, no, don't say that. But you really can hear, like, whisper. They're whispering. Wait, like, loud whispers. And then if you took your earplugs out, that's that noise that left me in my bed. That whisper. Right? And it creates fear. I mean, that is scary. if you don't know what it is. 16 hours on my bed. I didn't know what that was. Okay? So, like I said, I recognize what it is now. And so I understand I have got to have better control. I've got to have better control. Like when my mom lets my cats out, figure something else out. My sister said, why don't you just lock them in the bedroom at night? The problem solved. Thank you, Lindsay. How come I didn't think about that sooner? Problem solved. Tonight, when it gets dark, I'll put them in the bedroom, my niece's bedroom. I'll lock them in the bedroom, and it won't be a problem no more. That's a right choice. Solve the solution, right? And all those bad voices will just, they go away. They're kind of still there. They go away for a little while. So each right decision that I make, it gets easier to hear the voice of God, right? Because he is in there. And then the world, I believe, or maybe I'm confused. Maybe this is a spirit telling me this, and I'm kind of like, that still don't make sense, because even Jesus spoke to Satan. Even Jesus spoke to Legion, although Legion was not inside of him. But where was Satan when he walked into the wilderness for 40 days by himself? Where was that spirit of Satan? Was he outside? Where do spirits live? Jesus was alone. He held a conversation with a spirit that led him, and Jesus followed it, spirit of Satan, up into the wilderness to be tempted for 40 days. Led him. Just like it drove me all over America. Just like it told me it was God. Asked me to put a bullet in my head. See, Satan can call himself a God because he is a God. You cannot serve two masters. You can either love one or hate the other, or however that verse goes. God and money. Money is a master. God is a master. Money is Satan. Satan is a master. When Paul bowed down, he heard a voice. He said, "Who are you, Lord?" He said, "Which master are you?" And the voice responded, "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting." See, Satan cannot say he is Jesus. He cannot say that. But he can say he's a God. Make sure you are listening to the right voice. That is what creates the most fear in me with this exposure, is that you will listen to the wrong voice. I'm not kidding you. I'm scared for that. I'm scared that I'm going to teach the world that they can speak to the spirit inside of them, and they're going to follow the spirit of Satan. That worries me. That worries me more than you'll ever know. This gift does not come easy. This is why people get medication, because they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to function normally. If it's creating havoc, convincing you to drive all over the place, you're in fear somebody's going to bust down your door and stuff like that, that's what's really bad. I beat that. That does not mean that I walk daily like it's easy. It is not easy for me. And I might post videos and say that I hear the Spirit of God and this and that and the other, and all of that is true. But I want you to know that it's still a daily struggle. Because I hear the voice of Jesus, because I recognize that tone. I know that voice. I know the one that stuck up for me. And it gave me so much encouragement during those sufferings to know that somebody out there was sticking up for me. How would I not recognize that voice? The one who told me to get to safety. And there are times, like last night, where I could not hear him for nothing. I couldn't hear him. I could kind of hear like way off in the background, like he's back there, and I know what it was. It's because I done snapped off at my mom, and I got worried and concerned, and I let worry fill me. Spirit of worry. Do not worry about tomorrow, for today has enough worry of its own. That verse. Have peace inside of you. I just think about these things, and I don't know. I just wanted to tell you that it's not easy. And I don't want to give the impression that it is easy. But I have beat the havoc part. And I am moving toward a decent life. I'm going to get me a trailer, travel trailer. I'm going to get me a truck. I'm going to sign up for Work Camper News. And I'm going to travel and work at campsites all across America. That's what I'm going to do. And expose Illuminati and hit different churches and different jails. I'm trying to get up enough money to where I can start. So if you could please donate the books. I want to get to where I can at least start donating, especially the schizophrenic books, for those who are suffering with the voices that you know, FBI and stuff. I want to get those into the jails. I really want to get those into the jails, and I'm just trying to get there. I'm just trying to get there. So you know, if somebody in the church hears this and you want to help purchase a few, you know, I can get it for you cheaper. You know, I can get it for you cheaper than the $14.95. That's an option. Hit me up on Facebook. I can get it for you for like $10 a book. And if you want to do a mass order for a donation, that would be great. I reckon that's it for now. Thank you.